I'm going to take this proverbial cinematic football. I'm going to hand it over to Bruce Purkey. He's going to start talking about the plot line or maybe the summary, whatever he wants to say about Mona Lisa and the Blood Moon. First of all, number one, the moniker's kind of crazy. I looked at a clip. There's Kate Hudson doing some kind of scenery chewing performance, and it's written and directed by Anna Lily Amirpour, who is a very interesting filmmaker. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. I remember several years ago, it's considered a great movie. I think she also did a movie called The Bad Batch. Bruce, what can you tell our listeners about this movie?
Well, describing the plot of this is definitely going to be a little tough because it's not a plot-heavy movie. Basically, it starts out with our main character, Mona Lisa, played by Jeon Jong-Seo. I recognized, but I couldn't remember where I saw her from. She was in The Burning, which I have not seen, but she was also in that movie, The Call, which you might recall me talking about a couple years ago, which is Korean. It's really good. This Korean twisty thriller, and that's really fun.
Why have they not remade it in the States?
I'm glad they haven't. Just go watch the original. But you should watch it. It's very underappreciated. Anyway, she plays Mona Lisa Lee, and she starts out in an asylum of some sort. She's literally got a straitjacket on, and she's stuck in there. And very quickly, she escapes. And I don't know if I should even talk about how she escapes. There's a way that she specifically escaped. The rest of the movie is kind of her as a sort of fish out of water, almost like an alien, almost like she doesn't know too much about modern society as she walks through the streets of New Orleans and meets various denizens of the night in New Orleans and eventually makes connections and friendships. But this is a free-flowing, follow a character through various scenes and characters, and there is a story there, but it's really mostly about kind of the experience of following this character through that world. And,
vignettes, anecdotal kind of
not really vignettes. I would say the first 20 minutes or so is literally her kind of just wandering through and meeting various people and kind of going from one place to another. But then it kind of settles into a more elongated character development between her and the Kate Hudson character and Kate Hudson character's kid. Kate Hudson character is Bonnie. Bonnie is a stripper at a French Quarter lowdown strip club called the Panty Dropper, I think, if I remember correctly.
The Panty Drop.
Panty Drop. Okay, thank you, Eric. I'm sure you had the you made a mental note. This is a movie that you vibe with or you don't vibe with. Eric and I were literally watching at almost identically the same time and reacting to in real time to each other. And one of us was either a minute or two ahead of the other the whole time, and we were both kind of reacting similarly as it went. But I would say overall, I really enjoyed it, and I really got into the vibe, and I really liked the characters. I could see this being loved or hated depending on kind of where you fall on the vibe. I guess I could say the term vibe.
That's what you say that. Could you have actually, let's say it's a Thursday morning and you're in a bad mood and you watch this, would you react in a different way? What I'm saying, could it be one of these, if you're in the mood for it kind of thing, and might give, or
maybe, I mean, I don't know. Once again, let's see what Eric says. I don't think it's as much what mood you're in, but it's kind of what style you like. If you start getting, I would say this is definitely, we say this every so often, this is one of those, hey, you're 20 minutes or so into it and you're digging it, you're going to probably dig the whole thing. And if you're not, you're probably not going to dig the whole thing. But I really quite liked it a lot. Eric and I were bouncing back like, what do you compare it to? How do you compare this? And I think I came down on, what did I say? Fried berry meets something. I forget what it was.
I love fried berry.
Like Giallo, or was it Wong Kar-wai doing Giallo with like a sprinkle of fried berry or something?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's a great combination.
That is a pretty good description, actually.
Wow. And since we're in New Orleans, it's a gumbo pot of influencers. That sounds really interesting. Bruce really liked it, Eric. And did you feel the same way? Did you really like this film? If so, where does this movie hang its hat on?
I don't know what it hangs. I didn't know this was the same director that did The Bad Batch with Jason Momoa. Mm-hmm. That totally makes sense. If you guys seen that, it's like this movie's kind of similar in that the opening scene kind of starts off. It's like, oh, I know what this movie is. But then like the next scene comes around. It's like, oh, I don't know what this movie is.
Is that a good thing when that happens?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because it kind of keeps you on your toes. Like Bruce said, you have to be in for that sort of thing. Some people aren't, I guess. But I would guess a lot of people listening to this would probably be into that, because at times it almost feels like it's its own genre of movie. It's hard to put your finger on what it is, because it'll feel like something and then it'll just move to something else. And more like a character piece, I guess. It's not anything like The Greasy Strangler, Strangler. Greasy Strangler is way its own thing, but it kind of feels like that in that when I'm watching Greasy Strangler, I'm like, oh, I haven't seen a movie quite like this before. Like this one has a certain kind of flavor to it that I'm not quite familiar with. Not quite as obvious as Greasy Strangler, but kind of, I felt like I was watching like a truly unique vision with this. And I really like the characters and, oh God, what's his name? Craig
Robinson.
Craig Robinson. Yeah, he's
great
really
in
good.
this.
And he's not the funny guy, which is kind of, it's always neat when comedic actors do stuff like this, where it's like, it's not like a real heavy dramatic role. He's still kind of light through most of it, but it's fun when you get to watch a comedic actor kind of stretch a little bit and do something a little different. I don't know what his character's name is, but the door guy.
Oh, no, that's different. No, that's different guy. The door guy.
Oh, no, that's Snow.
Snow, yes, Fuzz, Snow.
Yeah, this thing is actually loaded with great characters. The guy running the door, the panty drop, it's probably my favorite. But it's a really cool movie. I would check it out. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, no, the vibe. What's the vibe that people will not like this movie if there is some?
It's kind of as genres go. It starts off horror and then it kind of goes almost like a hangout movie sort of, and then it ends almost kind of drama. And then as far as genres go, it kind of goes all over the place.
Would you say there's a little bit of Harmony Korine to it too? A little bit.
Yeah.
Like here, I guess I give an example. So on the soundtrack, we didn't talk about the soundtrack. Soundtrack is really cool and not my genre of music necessarily overall, but it's a lot of like, I don't know what you call it, like chill, hip hop, I don't know, wave stuff, you know?
Snow. They played Snow.
Yeah. Yeah. But for example, here's a scene. So you have the Snow character. And other thing I would point out is she meets a whole array of characters in the first part of this movie, and they all come back around.
Yeah.
So you get to re-meet all these characters later on, but now you know everybody in a different context, and that's kind of fun, I think, too. So it gives it kind of a closure, I feel like, that's really nice. But there's a scene where our Snow character, he's the kind of guy that has a disco ball and like leopard or zebra prints inside of his car and a glow light. And there's a scene with him, extended scene, almost silent, with music blaring in his black light illuminated apartment while he's just delicately cooking some fried eggs. And you're just watching it and you're just digging it, or you're not digging it. But I mean, that's the kind of thing you're going to get in this. These kind of scenes where you're just going to go with these characters and you're finding out what they're all about. It's good. I like it a lot.
Well, Ed Skrein is in this movie as Fuzz. Yeah. How's that character Fuzz?
Yeah, it's Snow.
Oh, that's Snow.
That's Snow. We call him Snow.
He looks like Snow from Informer. So as soon as he popped up, I'm like, oh, Snow showed up, and it's like his name's Fuzz. I'm like, I'm calling him Snow from now on.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, that is played by Ed Skrein. He's a very interesting actor. He could have been this. How old is this guy right now? He is 30. Oh, he's 38. He started in Deadpool as Ajax, and he's one of these guys who could be an A-list actor. He was the lead in Midway as well, but he really picks these really eccentric type of roles. Really like him. He was a Naked Singularity. Very interesting actor. So I'm excited to see this movie, to see if it's any good. What would you guys rate this movie? What would Mona Lisa and the Bad Moon, Blood Moon,
I was waiting for the end to see how much I liked the end, and I did like that. The end wasn't like a huge twist or anything. It was just kind of real satisfying to me to where the characters in the story was going. So I really enjoyed the end. So that was kind of what I was going to hinge everything on, and the ending worked for me. So I'm going to go 5 stars on this.
5 stars from Eric Holmes. Mona Lisa and the Blood Moon in theaters, not Mad Moon, Blood Moon in theaters, on digital and on demand September 30th. Bruce Purkey, your rating on the film?
I'm close. I'm 4.5 stars.
Holy what? 4.5 stars.
It's really good.
I'm missing out on a movie. Wow. 4.5 for Bruce Purkey. 5-star banger for Eric Holmes, Mona Lisa and the Blood Moon. If you watch this movie and you are disappointed and it's not a 5-star banger, more like a 1-star what the F happened to me, email erichomes@hamslime@gmail.com and he'll respond.
And I will tell you how you're wrong.